Hello viewers, again back to my channel. I'm Shubhasri Maiti from Swami Vivekananda Institute of Modern Science, and as I have told you that today I'm gonna describe about UML diagrams in object-oriented analysis and design. In my previous video, I have described about UML concept, UML classes. Now in this video, I will describe about UML diagrams. Okay, so let's start the video. I have already told that I have made this video for MSc first year students. Okay, so let's come directly in the point. As we know that UML means Unified Modeling Language Diagrams, which represent a system. Okay, UML diagram actually includes these two special type of diagram. One is called structural and another one is called behavioral. Under the structural diagrams, there are four diagrams like class diagram, object diagram, component diagram, and deployment diagram. And in behavioral diagram, we have another five diagram like use case diagram, sequence diagram, collaboration diagram, state diagram, and activity diagram. Next, first the class diagram. So this class diagram under the structural diagram I am starting. So first one is the class diagram. Class diagrams are widely used to describe the types of objects in a system and their relationship. Class diagram consists of class name, attributes, and function. Name means to represent one kind of class. First, you write down the class name. Here I have taken the example of customer as a class. So here I am writing the class name as customer. Then you have to put the class attributes. So customer attributes become name and location. So see here in attribute section we are giving the name, you are writing the name and location, but here in the input values we are writing the type of that input. Here name comes in the string, so that's why I have written here string over here. And for location also I have taken the input type as string. In third section we have to write down the class attribute, not attribute, sorry, class function. That means which function that class is performing. So customer's function is sending order and receiving order, so I have taken these two functions. As we have taken the properties as a function, that's why I have written here in the function format like bracket open and bracket close. Okay, so first we have to write class name, then attributes name, then functions name. Functions means which function that class is performing. Here class and its relationship is described here. Here actually for class and its relationship, I have I have represented here the association and the generalization or inheritance concept. In previous video I have told you that to represent the association we have to present we have to present several kind of classes, and which is dependent on the which is associated in multiple times or one time. That is the main thing. Here a simple customer and order relationship is has represented here. So for customer, name, location, and properties are given here. So one customer can produce several kind of order. So without customer, order is not order doesn't exist. That's why the arrow comes here. And here one customer is getting or receiving several orders. That's why n is written here. That means one to many relationship. And here order is another class. So first order name is here, then attribute name is here, then its operations are here. Okay, again this order, it become the super class. It is been inherited by special order and normal order. So here the generalization relationship has been performed. That means these two subclasses are inherited from this superclass. So here the generalization relationship has been shown. Okay, so here, so to represent association we are representing this sign here. This 1 and n means the multiplicity, that means one to many relationship. This is class name, attribute name, then function name. Okay, that means class name, attributes, and its operations. Operation means the function that been performed by that class. And this sign means the generalization sign. Okay, this generalization sign actually means here inheritance is being performed. Okay, so special order and normal order, these two classes are inherited from order class, superclass. So these two class become the subclass. See here, whenever we are representing any class that is subclass or superclass, we are maintaining this thing. That means first class name, then attribute name, then the function name. Okay, I hope it's clear now. Now coming in the object diagram. Okay, object diagrams also can be described as an instance of class diagram. These are a set of objects and their relationship just like class diagrams, and it also represent the static view of the system. The usage of object diagram is similar to class diagrams, but they are used to build prototype of a system from practical perspective. Now it's component diagram. Component diagrams represent a set of components and their relationship. This component consists of classes, interfaces. It also represents the implementation view of a system. Okay. Then now deployment diagram. Deployment diagrams are a set of nodes and their relationship. These nodes are physical entities where the components are deployed. Deployment diagrams are used for visualization deployment view of a system. This is generally used by the deployment team. Now I'm coming the main part, which is called use case diagram. In use case diagram, which is a set of scenarios, those describe an interaction between a user and a system. A use case diagram displays the relationship among actors and use cases. The two main components of a use case diagram, one is called use case, another one is called actor. Actor means a use case is an external view of the system that represents some action which the user might perform in order to complete a task. That means the actor might perform in order to complete a task, and an actor represent a user. Okay, actor means here user. That's why it is called use case diagram. See here one kind of example I have taken from internet. Here student and teacher, two actors are there, and here the using this use case diagram, I have told you that UML is one kind of pictorial representation. So here all the criteria has been used in the case of use cases. So one use case could be defined as check attendance, check timetable, check test score, update attendance, update score. That means in between teacher and student, these use cases could be applied. That's why these things are taken as a use case. And as these two are actors, so we have to use this kind of symbols. And as these are the use cases, that's why you have to use this kind of shape. So here check attendance, check timetable, check test score, update attendance, update score. These are the use cases. Whenever you can use according to your need, but those use cases should be displayed in this manner. Next one is sequence diagram. A sequence diagram is an interaction diagram which interacts among the components of a system, which is very important from implementation and execution perspective. It is also used to visualize the sequence of calls in a system to perform a specific functionality. Now I'm coming in the collaboration diagram. Collaboration diagram is another form of interaction diagram. It represents the structural organization of a system and the message sent or received. Structural organization consists of objects and links. The purpose of collaboration diagram is similar to sequence diagram, but the specific purpose of collaboration diagram is to visualize the organization of objects and their interaction. Now I'm coming in the state diagram part. See here, state diagrams are used to describe the behavior of a system, okay, which describe all the possible states of an object at event occur. Event occurred means, suppose we are starting one kind of system. So first, just like class name, here we have to use this kind of symbol. First, to write down the state name like active or start or end. Then here, what action the state is performing, then you have to write down that name. And this means, this arrow sign means this state is going to what state. For that we have to use this kind of arrow sign. See here, I have taken another example from net, and I have represent the link here. Okay, so that you can also find. Actually, I have used this kind of picture so that you could understand the topic. Okay, here is the explained example of state diagram. See here. Here one initial state is there. To represent initial state, we have to use this kind of symbol. Okay, so it is the initial state. From initial state, the state is going. Okay, then after getting the trigger, it is going to the state 2, and this is the loop, that means the self transition loop. It is actually coming back to into itself. This is called the loop or self transition. Okay, now again getting the trigger, it is going to a state 3, and again it has the one kind of closed loop, or it can have feedback criteria, and to represent the final state you have to use this kind of symbol. Okay, so this state, first you can write here state name, then state action, that means what action the state is performing. This arrow means transition state, that means from this state which state it is going. To represent that you have to use this kind of arrow, and this is means the input, that means getting what kind of message the one state is moving from one state to another state. To represent that you have to write down those criteria or those conditions. So first state name, then the action is performed by that state. Here is a condition by which one state is going from one state to another state. Here is the arrow sign to represent that state, and it is the initial state and it is the final state. To represent state, we have to use this kind of symbol. Now activity diagram. Activity diagram describes the workflow behavior of a system. It also describes the state of activities by representing the sequence of activities. It can also represent the activities that are conditioned or parallel. See here, it is one kind of example of activity diagram. Here I have provided one kind of activity for opening or deleting or reading any kind of mail. We know that all of we do use mailing system. So suppose we are starting the activity, we are opening the mail, then we are taking the decision whether if it is important, then we will read the mail, but if it's not important or junk, then we will delete the mail. And again after doing this, we log out our Gmail. So all those things are, I mean, whether we read the mail or we delete the mail, the system got logged out and we end the activity. Okay, so state diagram is somewhat different from activity diagram. In activity diagram, decision and decision sign and entity sign is somewhat different from state diagram. And for state diagram, we have to we have to give some kind of state name, then again action, then here the condition from transition from one state to another. But in activity diagram, we are just writing our decisions here. In this way, just some difference is there. Okay, and here are some reference from which I have get the entire concept, and this is the image I have used from internet over here. Okay, I hope you get the entire UML concept from this video and from my previous video. All the link I'll share, okay, along with my video. If you have any question, you could ask me in the comment box. Okay, and if you like my video, please like it, share it, subscribe it. Okay, thank you.